God, I don't know which key it is. Alexa, open the door!
Unlocking.
Stupid serial killer. I've got a smart home. Hello and welcome to my new house. It was built in 1948 and as a result, it's pretty dumb. I know that's mean, but sometimes the truth hurts. So over here we have a bunch of home accessories to make my house smarter. And the goal is to be able to talk to my house and have it do things. So for a lot of this, we're actually gonna have to go in my house. So please excuse the mess. We're still moving in, things are everywhere. Just like this pot right here. I mean, who puts pot out on their front porch? Everyone knows you're supposed to hide your pot or your mom takes it away. So we'll be going through all this stuff one at a time. We're not gonna go through how to set up like all the various apps and stuff. Otherwise this video would be about 14 hours long. But we are gonna start with a really easy one that pretty much anyone can do. If you didn't notice, it's a light bulb. Let's go put it in. So this is my closet and it has no light. What it does have is one of those really basic light fixtures that you put a light bulb in. However, this one is supposed to have a pulled chain, but sometime between 1948 and now, that pulled chain came off and nobody replaced it. There's no switch that goes to this. The only way to turn it on or off is from that pulled chain that doesn't exist anymore. And right now it's stuck in the on position. So what I'd like to do is not have my closet light on all the time, but when I walk into the closet, I want the light to turn on. So this is a motion sensing light bulb from GE. I'll link to everything we're using today in the description below. This is a little motion sensor on the end, and all we need to do is that. So now when we walk in the closet, the light will turn on, and after you're gone for a period of time, the light turns off until you walk in again. There you go. Can't talk to my closet, but it's a little bit smarter. Continuing that same trend, this is the wife's closet. It has a switch on the inside that goes to this terrible fluorescent light with this terrible ceiling. We need to fix that. Haven't gotten around to it yet. But in the meantime, we want her closet light to turn on when she walks in the closet too. So she doesn't have a simple light fixture that we can just put a light bulb in. But what we do have is this motion sensing light switch. So what you do, you place your light switch with this motion sensor, and then whenever you walk in your closet, the light turns on. I'm not an electrician, so I can't tell you how to do this, but white to white, black to black, green to ground. Which brings me to another important point. Whenever you're looking for smart switches for your house, there's a lot of them out there that require a neutral wire. That's the white wire that you'll see in your switches, your outlets, if you have it. So before you go buying stuff, make sure you know whether or not you have a neutral wire or you don't. There are smart switches that will work without a neutral wire. They're just a lot harder to find. All right, switch is installed, so now we can walk into our closet and lights turn on. So it also has a button in case you wanted to manually turn the lights on or off. You can also change the amount of time that it stays on once you leave the room. There's a few different settings. You can read there's something called the instructions if you want to. I didn't, but you can. Closet's a little bit smarter. Moving on. So while we're on the topic of switches that are not that smart but not that dumb, this is the shower fan, and you turn it on just like that. Thing is, the wife doesn't turn it on 9 times out of 10. So we are going to be installing a humidity sensor. So it will take the place of this switch right here. And that way, whenever you're in the shower and it gets hot and steamy, this will automatically turn on the fan and you don't have to worry about turning it on yourself. So let's put that in real quick. All right, so our switch is in. You can still turn it on manually if you would like. And normally this is the part where I would demonstrate how it works by taking a steamy shower and having it turn on, but the last time I took a shower on YouTube, I got kicked off for a year. So we're just gonna skip that part today. Moving on. All right, so the next one is actually already installed. It is a Yale deadbolt. It is the Assure Lock SL, and I kinda hate it and I kinda like it. So I was at Lowe's, I knew I wanted a smart lock, hadn't done any research, I just looked for one that said works with Alexa. We have like 4 deadbolts, I think, around this house. So at night, I just wanna be able to say, Alexa, lock the doors, and all 4 doors will lock. So this said works with Alexa. The thing is, it works with Alexa if you buy more stuff. So the lock comes dumb. You have to buy this Wi-Fi access upgrade kit thing. They sell a more expensive version of the lock, but I was like, I just want the one that works with Alexa so I can talk to it. Turns out, spent more money anyways. They get you every time. But the reason I like it is because you can talk to it. You can say things like, Alexa, lock the front door. And now, there you go, the front door is locked. She will also unlock the door for you. If you set up a passcode, you have to say unlock the door and then tell her your secret passcode, and then she'll unlock it. You can set geofences for auto locking and unlocking. So say you leave your house a certain area, you haven't locked the door, it'll automatically lock it for you. It will also unlock the door for you when you come home. So say you got a bunch of stuff in your hand, you can't press the keypad, it'll automatically unlock your door when you get close to your house. And if you notice, this one doesn't have a spot to put a key in the event the battery goes dead. So if your battery goes dead, what do? Actually says right here in the box, throw a rock at the window. So this is the gate to get into my front yard, and it also needs to be a little bit smarter because right now, whenever you get a package delivered, they just kind of leave it out there somewhere. And then anybody driving by on the street can drive by and pick up your package. So if you didn't know, Amazon owns Ring, and they make this access controller that you can hook up to pretty much any gates. As long as it gets Wi-Fi, you can use the Ring app to open your gate from anywhere. And the best part is that Amazon delivery drivers can open your gate, let themselves in, then deliver your packages way up at your porch instead of out here on the street where they'll get stolen. The thing is though, this is $300 and turns out I don't need it, so this is worthless, going away. Actually, that's worth $300, I'm returning that. So my gate is actually a LiftMaster system, and it has the My Queue feature just like their garage doors do. So there's an app that you can get, and you can control your garage door from pretty much anywhere you have service, and that also participates in the Amazon Key program. And so Amazon drivers, if you enable it, they can let themselves into your LiftMaster gate. So this was only $30, and we're going to be installing this instead. It's basically a garage door remote that you just put somewhere where you have internet. So we're going to go down to the garage down there and install that, and hopefully it'll reach all the way out here. Okay, so that didn't go according to plan at all. If you're new to our channel, nothing really goes according to plan around here. So the opener works and it doesn't work. Let me show you what it does. So number one, I had to install it out here in order to get it to pair with the board for the gate opener. Wouldn't work all the way back in the garage. So we open the My Queue app and we tell it to open the garage door, and it will. We're opening. Okay, we are open, but it still thinks that the garage door is closed, and that's because it comes with this dumb little thing. This is a garage door sensor. You put it on your garage door, so right now it thinks it's closed. Whenever the garage door opens, then it tells the system that it's open. But because I don't actually have a garage door, this doesn't move, and it never thinks my door is open. Which isn't a big problem, you just don't know if your door is open or closed, and actually, now that I moved it, just changed it. But what that means is that it spends a lot of time just waiting for that signal, and you can't reclose the gate like in the next 30 seconds. You have to wait a few minutes for it to figure out that the garage door is not going to open and allow you to send another signal. So, not the best. And what I did to fix that was buy another thing. So it turns out my gate opener is a little bit old, and what I actually needed was this right here. It is a LiftMaster internet gateway. It works with this era of gate opener. You have to plug it in physically, so it is plugged in way back there in that garage directly to the router, and it works exactly how it's supposed to. So it knows that we have a gate. It knows the gate is open, and then you can, tell it to close your gate. We're closing. It now knows that the gate is closed. It knows when it's open. It knows the exact status of the gate. So that's what we're going to be using, not the universal garage door opener, even though that's what LiftMaster/Chamberlain tells you want. It's not what I wanted. So that's going back too. But at least we got the gate working. For our next trick, I'm going to pick plain old light switch. So this is my kitchen, and it has a ridiculous number of switches that you have to press to turn on just the lights in the kitchen. So I've got some switches here so we can hook them up, talk to Alexa, she'll turn them all on at the same time. I chose the Leviton switches this time. I had GE last time, and like every time the power went out, one of them stopped working and couldn't be reprogrammed, it had to be replaced. So I went with a different brand this time. I know a lot of people like the Lutron switches. I just don't like the way the buttons feel when you press them. They're kind of squishy. So this is more like an actual, tactile switch. So hook these up, see how they work. Don't tell the electricians, but I'm gonna give you one piece of electrical advice while we're doing this because I just realized it's important. So on the backs of some of these switches, they say load and line. So line is the power coming in. It's typically gonna be the big bundle of black wires that you see coming in with all the power. And line and load is going to be the wire going out to your light. It carries the load from the switch. I don't know, I'm not an electrician. Some switches are smart enough that it doesn't matter. You can just put any black wire to any black wire, but some of them like this one, you gotta pay attention, otherwise not gonna work. Okay, we got our lights wired up, but this one was not without an issue. So I found out as I got into this that this third switch here was a 3-way switch, which means you can turn the light on and off from over here. You could also turn it on and off from over there across the kitchen. So with smart switches, you can't just buy 2 smart switches and wire them together. It doesn't work that way. You have to have a dummy switch, or what Leviton calls in this situation, a companion switch. And what that switch is, it's basically nothing. It's a remote. This one's powered by batteries. So you press the button on the remote, and the switch over there does all the work and turns off the light. This one is just there to help it out. So what I don't like about this is it's powered by batteries. So these are gonna go out every so often and they will have to be replaced. The GE switches I had before were hardwired in, so you never had to replace batteries. But like I said, they went out all the time. So you had to replace a switch every other time the power went out. So in the long run, the batteries may be better, even though they're gonna be slightly a pain. And on some of these newer switches, it's important to know that they have this QR code here that you have to scan when you're setting them up. It's some sort of security thing, so you have to physically be there to set your light up on your network, I guess, so your neighbors can't control your lights, something like that. But make sure you scan it and set those up before you put your cover plate back on. Otherwise, you're gonna be taking your cover plate right back off just to scan those codes. All right, so our switches are all fully installed now. Turns out the Leviton app didn't require you to scan the QR codes like I just said, so I lied to you, sorry. The GE switches, they do require you to do that though, so I wasn't completely lying. And so what you do now, I've already linked my Leviton account to my Amazon Alexa account. So now we can go into the Alexa app. We can identify all of our new devices as lights. So we'll change the type here to light. I've told Alexa that this Echo device is in the same room as all of these switches. So now all we should have to do is say, Alexa, lights on. And all of our lights in the kitchen turn on, with the exception of this one, but that one's special. So this light is hooked up to this switch right here, which you can see is not a standard switch. It's like a double 2-in-1 switch. The other part goes to the under cabinet lighting. So Leviton does not make a switch that is a double switch. I had to find something else. I think Lutron makes them, but again, I don't like the way those buttons feel. So I found a smart switch. So this guy is going to go right in there. It should control both of our lights. And I'm not gonna bore you with just installing another light switch, but I wanted to let you know they exist. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you anyways because it's kind of a cool little switch. So we've got it wired up. Here you touch the top little icon. Got our kitchen sink light, bottom little icon, under cabinet lighting. And I also programmed these as lights. So if we say, Alexa, lights on, they turn on with everything else. And if you don't want every switch like in a room to turn on whenever you say lights on, you can leave them programmed as switches and not as lights. And then Alexa will only turn on the ones that she knows are lights. So you can have some on, some off,
I'm not
whatever
quite
you
sure
want.
how to help you with that.
She can't help us with that. So here we have this giant unsightly intermatic timer that's kind of dumb. It comes on at a certain time, turns off at a certain time, but it's really hard to adjust and it's not necessary. So it was hooked up to those lights all along the wall out there, and it was overkill because they weren't 240 volts. So I just unwired that and wired them up to a smart switch here. So now we can control our seawall lights with everything else. Next up, we have this very dumb thermostat. So it goes up, it goes down, but that's all it does. You can't program it for different temperatures throughout the day. It doesn't know when you're gone, so we can turn the heat or the cool off. But we're gonna fix all that with a Nest thermostat. So I know there's a lot of different smart thermostats out there today. These are the ones I've been using them for, I think, as long as they've been out. Never had a problem with it. So this one is actually going to program itself for us. It's going to learn when we're home, when we're away, and adjust the temperature accordingly. We're also going to use the Nest because you can get these Nest temperature sensors. So in this house, we figured out pretty quickly that if it heats up down here, the heat travels up the stairs and straight into the master bedroom up there. So the second thermostat for our house is in the master bedroom, and so the master bedroom stays warm because downstairs is heating it, and these bedrooms over here, they don't get heated. So what I'm gonna do is take a thermostat sensor, put them in these rooms, and it will tell the Nest that, hey, these rooms aren't warm yet, go ahead and keep heating. So wiring up a new thermostat isn't terribly complicated, but there are a few more wires than just a switch or an outlet. The one thing you need to remember though is turn off the circuit breaker to your HVAC system. You probably wanna do that with the switches and outlets too, but especially for this, there's a little bit of power going through it, not enough to kill you, but what's gonna happen is if you touch the power wire to some of the other wires, there's a little tiny automotive style fuse probably in your inside unit. And if you touch the wires together without turning off the circuit breaker, it blows that fuse. Ask me how I know.
Just between us, I made that mistake before, and it took me like 4 hours to figure it out.
So in here, it looks like we've got a C wire, an R wire, a G wire, a Y, and a W. And I have no idea what any of that means, but I'm gonna put the same wires into the same things on the Nest and it should work. Sometimes, even if you get the wiring wrong on the Nest, it can correct itself. I mean, don't go put the wires in there all willy-nilly, but you stand a pretty good chance. So this is actually one thing I don't like about going from a standard thermostat to a Nest. So our Nest is like this big, right? And we only need one little hole for the wires to come through, but now we have this giant box here. So it does come with this plate that you can put over something like that, but I don't really like the way they look. So not today, but at some point I'll go back and do some drywall work here and make it so the only thing on the wall is Nest, and it looks something like that. Yeah, so that white plate lasted all of 5 seconds. So we fixed the drywall, the Nest is mounted the way it's supposed to be. It's all set up now. We also got our temperature sensor, one of them over here. Came in a 3-pack, so I just had to do something with them. So I put one over by where the wife's home office is. They give you these little screws so you can mount them on the wall somewhere, but I just I hid this one in her office supplies. So next time she tells me it's too cold in here, I can say, no, it's exactly whatever degrees. We've also got the thermostat set up with Alexa now, so we can say things like, Alexa, set the living room to 70 degrees.
The heat's set to 70.
So for our next trick, we will be installing a smart outlet. So this is just like a smart switch, except it is an outlet that you plug something into. And the reason we need this is for this right here. I guess we can refer to it as my wife's pride and joy. I don't know any other way to refer to it without getting in trouble. Actually, that might still get me in trouble. But anyways, if you know anything about pinballs, they are loud, they are obnoxious, and you don't want them on all the time. Or at least I don't. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in a smart outlet. We're gonna hook in a surge protector, hook up all of our pinballs to that, and then we can tell Alexa to turn on or off the pinballs at will. All right, so our smart plug is wired up. It does have a button here you can press if you don't wanna, link it to anything, but why would you be doing this if you didn't want to? All of our pinballs are plugged in, and now we can say, what do you say?
Alexa, turn on Club Aaron.
No.
Alexa, turn on my arcade.
You're getting closer. Alexa, turn on the pinballs.
Oh.
We are the monsters of rock!
Rumor has it no one can win at pinballs. Alexa, turn off the pinballs. That's better. So this is a light at the front of my driveway, and if you notice, it is on, and that is because it is always on. Whoever wired this thing up, they wired it so it never turns off. There's no switch, there's no plug. The only way to turn it off is to cut power at the circuit breaker, but that also cuts power to the gate, so that's not really an option. So what we've got to fix that is this. It's another kind of smart, kind of dumb option. This is a photoelectric sensor. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wire this in line to the light. The light gets us power through this box down here that's half buried, so I'm gonna attempt to unbury that too. And whenever it's night, this will turn the light on, and whenever it's daylight, this will turn the light off. So then it won't be on 24/7, just draining power for no reason. All right, so that box is cemented into the ground. It's not moving anywhere, but it's all wired up. You can see the light is off, which, well, it means it's working. But then if I put my hand over the photo sensor, it should turn on. Success. And as I'm cleaning this out, I forgot to mention, they do make dusk to dawn light bulbs that turn on at night and turn off in the morning, but I couldn't find any that had this small of a base, so that's why I use that photo sensor instead of just switch anthem bulbs. You wanna hear a funny story? I just spent like an hour installing that photo sensor because the wires didn't want to fit in the box. It took me a long time just to stuff everything in there. Get up here to clean the light, and there's a photo sensor right there. I think it must have just gone bad over time and it left the light on. So I could have just switched that out easy, no problem, but I didn't. Win? Fail? I don't know, it works now. So in this room right here, we've got a ceiling fan with a light on it, which isn't that special, but what is special is it's all hooked up to one switch here. So they've got it on a dimmer with your fan speeds or whatever, and that's great, but we'd like to make that smarter. So to take care of that, we have a treat life here. So this is a light switch and a fan all in one. It dims, it changes the fan speed, and we'll be able to hook that up to Alexa. And while we're here, can we talk about screw position? So you'll notice these screws, they left them up and down. Well, that one mostly, it's kind of sideways, but that's incorrect. The correct way is horizontal. And let me just explain myself real quick. Now, if you look at the screws, they're closer to the top and the bottom than they are the middle. So that means, to me anyways, that they should go this way and not this way. So don't do this. And if you're someone who just leaves your screws all akimbo, like, just stop watching. All right, so our switch is in now. You can turn everything on or off from here, or we can say, Alexa, lights on. Alexa, set the fan to speed 3. And there we go. So next up, we have a 4-speed fan controller here. It goes to that fan up there, but as you can see, it's kind of a dumb switch. You have to touch it. I like to be able to talk to my fans. So we have a 4-speed fan controller here. It's important to know you can't use a regular dimmer on a fan. To be honest, I don't know exactly why that is. They just tell you not to, and you're supposed to use a fan switch. So we got a fan switch. Got a couple of dimmers to go in the other spots here. Those go to the porch lights outside. All right, switches are all wired up. So now we get to say, Alexa, living room fan speed 3. And there it goes. So those are all the different types of switches we'll be installing today. I'm gonna run around the house real quick and install some more of the same. And then I'll show you all the routines and scenes I create and how they work together right about now. Okay, I lied. So real quick, I should probably explain what scenes and routines are. So a scene is like the way you set your device, and a routine is more of a trigger to make devices do something. The thing is, the Alexa app doesn't let you set scenes. You have to like do them elsewhere and import them. So what I've done is I've gone into the Leviton app and set an activity, is what they call it. So both my porch lights here turn on at 50%. And then I went into the Alexa app and imported that as a scene. So now I can trigger the scenes with a routine through Alexa. Are you confused yet? Because I am. Actually, it's not that hard. What we do is you go to the routines menu in your Alexa app, and here you've seen I've already set up a few. I've got some lights programmed to turn on at sunset. I've got some lights programmed to turn off around 11 p.m. and other lights that turn off at sunrise. If you wanted to add another routine for that scene we just talked about, you would add it there, and you could program your porch lights to turn on at 50% whenever you wanted. So now let's see how they all work. Alexa, turn on the fireplace.
Turn on the fireplace. Yay! It turned on.
Alexa, it's game night.
Looking forward to it because I'm going to kick your butt at pinball.
What did you just say? I also put motion sensors in all of our bathrooms, which is great because then you just walk right in and you can see it's already too late. You've already peed your pants. But that's okay because our bathroom is connected to a laundry room that I also put a motion sensor in. So then you just throw your pants in the laundry, and now I'm not wearing any pants. When you have a smart home, you can come home and say things like, Alexa, I'd like a romantic dinner.
Okay, baby, why don't you get comfortable and let me do the work?
That was kind of a strange thing to say. But she dimmed the lights and, oh my God, she cleaned up, she set the table, she made dinner. Wait, this isn't dinner. Alexa, exactly what do you think is going to happen tonight?
You always boss me around, but tonight I'm going to give it to you. Bend over and prepare to take some prime packages right up the...
Well, that's it for this one. The house is a little bit smarter. Some people would probably say it's too smart now. But if y'all have any ideas as to what you would do to make this house or your house smarter, let us know, because I'm sure there's stuff out there I don't know about. And until next time, thanks for watching. I'm just gonna sit here and prepare for my delivery. See you later. So the problem is, now I have to clean this ketchup off my door. I don't even like ketchup. Ah.